Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 M's in my bank account. Yeah, in my bank account.
Hey guys, this is Apple Advisor here, and I'm back with what I was telling you guys in the last video. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of liked this Apple event. I'm not really fully finished with it yet, but I got the full details that I need to tell you guys. Keep in mind, what I said before in the other video, those are called rumors. And rumors, not all of them are going to be true. Now, most of them that I was telling you did come true. But some, like the new iPad, they did not release the new iPad. They did not release the computers. Things like that, I kind of see why they didn't. And I kind of agree with it too. Like, normally what happens is in March, they do the computers and the iPads, not the phones. The phones, they do the events in September, including the Apple Watch. I don't think they even do the TVs in the September event. They do it in the March event. So, keep in mind, yeah, you can go back to the video and say, oh, you were wrong. They didn't do the iPad or anything like that. But they're just rumors. And you know why we said that is because in the last event, they, iOS 11 was so bad. You might think it's not bad, but it has been giving problems to not only older iPhones, but even like the iPhone X. Sometimes it lags. And that's not the phone's fault. That is the software's fault. The hardware on the iPhone X is so good, but it's just that the software is bad. So just keep in mind with that, okay? And also, I just want to mention what I'm going to show you is what they released in the event. So yeah, there was no iPads or computers that they released in the event, but we can say for sure most of the rumors that everybody was talking about are true. And yeah, I did say that they weren't going to call the iPhone, like, I personally don't like how they called it the iPhone X, which, by the way, when you say this one, now, you could say iPhone XS, but what they called it is 10S. 10S, 10S Max, and 10R. Not sure about the 10R, but me personally, I think I have a reason. But I first want to show you guys, I'll show you the Apple Watch first. So the Apple Watch, I kind of was saying, I think I said a little bit about the Apple Watch. It is a little different, I'm not gonna lie. It looks nice though. It's more rounded. It is not as much of a square as this. And also, they shrunk it down just a little bit if you can't tell. And I'm not going to try to get into full detail of what they did, but basically it's so that way it could be lighter and also it can be more rounded. Things that they, if you can look, they did change the gold finish of the Apple Watch to resemble the iPhone XS color that they released. And it's not this kind of gold. You know, the gold on an A+, you can't really see it because of my case, my bad, but it's not that type of gold, and it's not a normal, like, a iPhone 6 or 5S gold. It is a little different, but we'll get into that in a little bit. Some things they changed that I can tell you from the outside. They did move where the microphone is. It was up here, this is the microphone, and this is the speaker. They moved it to this side with the digital crown. It's actually under the digital crown, and this little button right here, this is physical. You know how on an iPhone 8 Plus it doesn't feel like a normal home button? Like this is not a real home button. This is a physical home button. You could press it and you could feel the button itself. But this is not a real home button, if you say. So basically why I mentioned that is right here, you could tell this is a real home button, or not a home button, but like a button. This one is going to be basically like an iPhone 8 Plus home button, basically. That's why I try to explain. The digital crown, how it moves, changes. Like this, you can feel it, it's smooth, but you can feel little ticks when you like move it. It's not easy to explain, but if I physically had one, I could show you, but I don't have one. Some things they added is obviously the new display. It is a lot bigger, so you can see more with it. For instance, if maybe I think I can pause it there. So you can add more widgets now. There will be more widgets that will come with this Apple Watch. And so that way it can use that full. Now it's not a full display, but it is 35% bigger. I think it says it right here. And now it's a little different. They're not having a 38 and a 42. They're having a 40 millimeter and a 44 millimeter. So it is the same chassis as this. So it's going to be the same size as this if you have a 42, but the screen is bigger. That's what's going to change. And a little bit of the design. But what Apple specifically said, if you have a Apple Watch Series 0 through now, your band will still work, because this part right here that you move the Apple Watch band with, that has not changed. So you can still use the same one. Obviously, there's going to be different Apple Watches. There's still going to be a one with cellular data and one with not. Cellular data is about, or no, I should say the regular. So you can also look at this at the Apple website if you want to see more detail, but I'm just going to show you like examples. So this is with just GPS. So this uses your phone with the internet and stuff. Oh, if you guys know about Bluetooth 4, Bluetooth 3, basically that's just like how fast it works and stuff with Bluetooth and connectivity. This has Bluetooth 5. This is the latest Bluetooth they have right now that's working. Also, I forgot to mention this. Where they put the microphone now, it's going to be better because the people who, like, if you call on an Apple Watch, they can hear you. The speakers, which, let me see if they have the other side of what it looks like. No, they don't. Let me see. The speakers now are much bigger. So when you call someone, you can actually hear them. You don't have to do this. If you know, every time I have a call, I normally have to do like this because I can barely hear. But with this new Apple Watch, you can hear because the speakers now are actually bigger. They're going to go like kind of like this. If I find a picture, I'll show you. But 40 millimeter and 44 is like $399 and the 44 is $429. That's just with GPS. Cellular data, now keep in mind, the cellular data has to work with your type of company, which it'll show right here. AT&T, Verizon, Sprint, T-Mobile. This also works with $399 and $429. But this is when it accelerates and changes because of the cellular, it becomes $529. If you want to know more information, it is all on here, but basically think about like the design has changed and it's going to be faster, guaranteed, and you're really going to like using that display. It's going to be really good. It's a huge upgrade because now it's no longer the same design, but you could still use the same watch bands. Now let's move on with iPhone XR. Now, like what I was telling you, I think I have a reason why they call it a XR, and I know the exact reason why they call it a XS, and you'll see why. But I feel like XR is for the Retina display. Now, if you guys don't know, iPhone X has an OLED display, which means that it's a better display, but if you use the iPhone 8 Plus, it's basically going to be the same display with the iPhone XR, which is not bad. I mean, the display on an LCD is still pretty good. We have phones still now that use LCD. There's now phones coming with OLED. For instance, the Galaxy phones come with OLED, and LG comes with OLED, and now the iPhone XS, XS Max also come with OLED, except this. But this iPhone is the first phone in general to use an LCD display that goes full screen. It's the first phone to do that. And so the issue with this, since it's doing that, I wonder if it says the pre-order date. Pre-orders start October 19th. And I don't know when they get out. But we'll get back to that in a second. Basically, what you gotta think of this phone, and I'm gonna explain in better detail, it is same features as a XS and a XS Max. It has the same, not the same camera exactly, but it still has a 12 megapixel camera. Actually, think about it as like a iPhone 10.5 inch iPad Pro. Sorry, not iPhone. It has, I think, the same camera, but I don't know if it's the same megapixels. But think of it, it has that same bulge. Because if you look at basically my iPad, it has that same thing. The flash is at the bottom. It does look different than the iPhone 10 or X, however you call it. The X technically represents iPhone 10 in Roman numerals. So this basically, how come they have it like this, is this is the budget end version of the iPhone. That's what I told you guys in the other video if you watched it. But this phone comes with multiple colors. And here's the colors. And I told some of you guys that this might not be a actual product red, but it is a product red. Why I said it might not be a product red is because when the iPhone 8 Plus came out, they came out only with gold, the one that I have, silver, and space gray, or whatever they call their black. They just did, during the March event, they released the iPhone 8 Plus product red. So why I said it might not be the actual product red is because normally Apple releases that after they release the phone. But this is coming with the phone. So if you get the iPhone XR, you will get the product red, and you'll get they call it cobalt for the blue. Personally, I like the blue. They have like a yellow, a silver or white, a space gray, and I think this is cobalt, basically like a greenish, I think. But I'm colorblind, so I'm not sure. I think that looks like a green to me. Now, this also you could pre-order, but the issue is you can't pre-order right now. You could see the prices though. So I'm actually gonna, okay, so they call it, sorry, not cobalt, coral, yellow, blue, product red, black, and white. Okay. So yeah, going back, so this is basically, think about it as the budget end version, which was the 5C. Okay, now that, I probably confused you guys. The 5C was a budget end version of the 5S at the time. And that's because the 5S was more expensive. They needed to figure out a way of making a budget end phone that people can buy. And that's basically what this is. And I'm not gonna lie, Apple's marketing, that kind of works, because it has the different colors than the iPhone XS and the XS Max, to the point where I feel like the most phones they could sell between the iPhone XR, XS, and XS Max, I feel like the XS Max and the XR are going to sell more phones than the XS itself, because the XS is going to be a second version of the iPhone X, basically. and the 10s Max is going to be a bigger version. But I'm going to get into that in detail. So really quick, I think I'm boring you guys, but I'm basically almost done. So it will have Face ID, like I was telling you guys. It is LCD, so it might not be as good. I haven't seen the phone myself, but basically think about an iPhone 8 Plus screen, but it's, you know, it's LCD, but it's bigger. It's actually going to be a bigger size of an LCD because it's 6.1 inches, and this is 5.8. But it is going to be a little bit smaller. The chassis of the phone is going to be smaller. It runs an A12 Bionic chip, which if you don't know what that means, is basically what runs the phone. 12 megapixel camera. Think about what the iPhone X has, portrait mode. Does it show it here? It has a 120 hertz display. By the way, I'm trying to make this video short, but if you really want to look at this, you can look at the Apple website. The 120 hertz display is basically what is on an iPad Pro. iPad Pro 10.5 inch. It makes it run. Makes the phone itself, the pixels, run fast. So how you use your phone, it runs faster. This is basically what I was telling you. That's the difference. It's gonna look almost the same thing. You can't really tell. It kind of looks a little bit different, but it is gonna be a little bit bigger. The chassis is gonna be bigger than the iPhone XS and the X, which is what it's showing. So that's basically with the iPhone XR. If you have any questions, or if you want to look at the Apple website, maybe that'll help you more. So now we're moving on to the XS. Now the XS, like I said, it's the second version of the iPhone X itself. It is better though. You might think, oh, it's just basically the iPhone XS, but it is different. We do have that new gold finish that the iPhone X was supposed to have, but they could not make it in time. And now we see why. Basically, if you can't tell, this is not a normal gold. This is actually a better gold. And I'm not gonna lie, it looks much better than if they made the iPhone 8 Plus gold on that. This one looks better, in my opinion. The display, it looks much different, and I don't know if you know this, but like LG now, I think, makes the displays of the iPhone XS and the XS Max, not the LCD. I think that Apple makes it, but you could look that up. Now that doesn't mean it's a LG phone. A lot of companies actually do rely on other companies to make like displays or batteries that way, because we as customers, we buy a lot of that, and Apple itself cannot make enough unless they rely on also other customers. It's not that LG is, helping Apple and their rivals. They actually are benefiting from each other. So basically, what's a little different about the iPhone XS and the XS Max is the camera. The camera is better. It runs on the A12, which is the same thing as the iPhone XR. Face ID is going to be faster, and the display and how the speakers work, it's going to be better. It's going to feel like it's almost surround sound. And this XS Max, which, let me see if there's an 8 Plus. Yes. It is going to be the same size as the iPhone 8 Plus. So I don't even have to show you my phone. This shows it right here. And basically, it's going to be if you have an iPhone 8 Plus and you know how to use a Plus phone, this is basically what the XS Max is going to be. They have these the ads that show you like how good the stereo speakers are gonna be, and if you get a XS Max, you could try it out yourself. This also has the 120 hertz display. This has IP68, which is also competing with the Galaxy phones now, but the iPhone XR is IP67. So this goes up to 2 meters for 30 minutes. So what's 2 meters in a foot? That's 6.56168. I don't think that's right. Not nautical mile. That's what they use for ships. So basically, it's a lot. Like 2 meters is a lot. I think the Apple Watch does that too. Which also the Apple Watch is water resistant too. I think for the same amount. Obviously, no home button. Some people were saying that, and I thought myself that I didn't think they were gonna do it this event or on these phones, but Apple made a patent, and patent is when you create something. Basically, Apple created a patent for Touch ID, which means that they created their own way of having a in-screen fingerprint sensor, which you basically put your finger in the little part where it has the sensor and it'll unlock the phone. Now, I didn't think it was coming with these phones, keep in mind, but I do think that they will do that. It's just not at the moment, because right now they're already perfecting Face ID to make it faster for people, and now with the 120 hertz display, it's going to be even faster unlocking the phone and multitasking. It does have True Tone display, which also comes with the iPads. If you don't know what True Tone display, it changes like in the environment, the display. So that's basically it. Like what I was telling you, they didn't release any iPads. I mean, you could check here. The new was the MacBook Pro. They did not talk about it in this event, but they did release it before. And the new iPad is the one I think I talked to you about already before. Apple TV is still the same, which I actually want to see. I wonder if you can... Oh, forgot to mention if they even show it here. I think I'm running out of time though. I'll just show it really quick if I can, if it'll load. Come on, internet. Search on health. Okay. So, if you don't know, like, in anatomy, when you go to the hospital, if you ever had, and you know how they have the machine that goes like beep, 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 it shows like your heart rate and like the beats. This is the first ever, it's not off-brand, but it's the first ever, like, electrocardiogram that was ever, like, released to the public. So, it's in an Apple Watch. So, basically, you could see they're call it electrocardiogram, but it's basically the beep thing. You could see it from your Apple Watch. And your Apple Watch can now sense, whether, like, if your heart rate is good or if it's bad. I don't know if it shows. And it also, when you have it, fall detection. It'll sense if you fell, and if you need any assistance, it'll take you right away to the emergency, or you could say, like, oh, I'm okay, like, I don't need it. If you don't answer at all, it'll automatically do it for you. They have these new, it's this new, watch face for the breathing app. And this is how cool the display actually is. It'll show almost as if it's full screen, but you still see a little bit of bezels, but I can see why they didn't make it full screen. It's probably because of, like, wrapping around that display. They probably couldn't do that yet. So it might be in next generation's Series 5. So I didn't mention price. Price is starting for an iPhone 7 is $449. For iPhone 8 is $599. iPhone XR is $749. Now keep in mind, this has almost the same camera, like 12 megapixel and 120 hertz and Face ID, all that, and it's at least cheaper. Now it's not cheaper than the iPhone 8, but keep in mind the iPhone 8 is older now compared to the iPhone XR, and you are getting colors, so it is a budget version. It's not a budget version because you still have the iPhone 7, the iPhone 8 to compete with the budget version. So, and you could also look up the iPhone 8, 8 Plus. I mean, I have the phone. It's still pretty good. I don't need a new phone. But personally, if I had to get, I would get a XR in a blue color, and an Apple Watch Gold. Which actually, if I wanted to get one of those, literally, I would get the Apple Watch. Because the Series 2 is starting to get old. And so I kind of, like, it's not old to the point where I need a replacement, but there will be a certain time, sooner or later, when, and I'm probably just going to wait until next year, to get this Series 4, because I want to get it in the gold version. And if you didn't know, I actually wanted to get the gold version of this, but they didn't have. They only had the Nike version, 42mm silver. And they explained to me how all there is that's different is the watch faces, and the Nike app comes with it. I'm not a big person in, like, Nike, like, it's, like, track and stuff like that. So I don't use it for that, but I use it as a normal Apple Watch, basically. But basically, that's what happened in the Apple event. Sorry this was super long. I'm trying to make my videos shorter and, like, but also letting you know what happened. And personally, the event was okay. It wasn't the best, but my opinion, I mean, there was really good things, and my favorite has to be the XR and the Apple Watch, but I just wish they made it an iPhone 9, because now they're going to confuse everybody. And trust me, if you have any questions, let me know and I could fully explain it to you, as I already did. So, sorry I took long, guys. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you in the next video. Thank you for those who just subscribed, and if you haven't subscribed, that's what the subscribe button is for. Sorry, my words today. But anyways, I'm going to try finishing the event now so I could fully explain. Like, not fully explain, I already did. But I just want to see the full event, just in case if I missed anything. If I did, I'll let you know in the next video. Okay, guys? So, peace.